Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, if I could just fix this one thing, then I'd be enough? Maybe it was your body, your job title. Maybe it was the way you handled a conversation that you're replaying over and over again. Maybe it was the fact that you didn't check everything off of your checklist again. I remember standing at a network event across from someone that appeared to have it all together. Tailored suit, confident smile, charisma, saying all the right things. I went up to the guy, complimented his suit, and we began a conversation. And in the conversation, he said, I've been in therapy for the past year. He was suffering from severe anxiety and the belief that he was not enough. The moment stuck with me because behind the polish was pain. And behind the performance was pressure. And it reminded me that everybody's carrying something. And in a world that is obsessed with perfection, many are just trying to be enough. We live in a world where perfect isn't just admired, it's expected. It's filtered into every area of our lives. You see it on Instagram, flawless bodies, curated vacations, and the constant, look ma, no hands. You see it on LinkedIn, titles, promotions, achievements. You see the posts that say, I am pleased to announce that I just started my new position at, and everyone joins in, yay, go you. And because that is the culture, we compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel and then wonder at the end of the day why we constantly feel like we're not measuring up. Another thing we tend to do is we create timelines of worth. By 30, I should have done this. By 40, I should be here. And by 50, man, I should be here. But what happens is when we don't hit the timeline, we don't question the timeline, we question ourselves. But here's the truth. Perfection isn't real. It's an illusion. No one has it all together. Not your favorite influencer, not your boss, not even the people you admire the most. They all struggle, and they're all trying to figure it out. They all have moments when they fall, and they all have moments when they doubt themselves. And the thing is, that doesn't make them weak, it makes them human. It's part of the human experience. Another thing to remember when it comes to perfectionism is perfection is a moving target. You pull out your bow and arrow, you set, you're like, okay, I see the target, I'm gonna hit it. And then as soon as you release that arrow, the target shifts 3 paces to the right. Whenever you think you're going to hit perfection, that bar moves. You lose 5 pounds. Now you want to tone your abs. You get the raise. Now you're wondering where your promotion's at. You end up in this cycle, and at the end of the day, you lay your head on your pillow and you're unhappy. That's the trap. Who told you you had to be perfect to be loved? Who told you you had to be perfect to be accepted? Who told you you had to be perfect to be successful? Where did this idea come from? Because more often than not, that voice isn't yours. It's society's, it's your parents, it's your teachers, it's someone from your past who planted a seed in your mind. And here's the twist that most people miss. Embracing imperfection in life isn't about settling. It's about showing up as your most authentic self. It's about being real. Think about it. Some of the most innovative ideas have come from a mistake. Some of the most respected leaders are those that can admit when they're wrong. And some of the most magnetic people aren't perfect. They're genuine. And there's power in the paradox that it is our imperfections that make us unforgettable. When you drop the mask, you drop the pressure. When you stop performing, you start connecting. I used to believe that being strong meant never showing weakness. I thought leadership meant having all the answers, so even when I didn't have the answers, I'd make something up. Because telling someone I don't know was not an acceptable response. So I'm just going to make something up, say it with conviction, and they'll believe that it's so. But what I noticed is the more I tried to be perfect, the more I disconnected from myself, from others, and from the life that was fulfilling. And the very moment I started showing up with honesty instead of polish, everything began to change in my life. My relationships deepened, my influence grew, and most importantly, I began to feel at peace with myself again. Not because I had it all figured out, but because I finally gave myself permission to be me, scars and all. And that permission is life-changing. So what actually shifts when we let go of the need to be perfect? First up, you're going to notice mental freedom. You stop living under a microscope. You stop trying to earn rest and earn worth and earn peace. You realize that all of this was set here before you just to receive and enjoy. I want you to imagine for a moment waking up and not feeling like your value depended on your productivity. Imagine posting a picture without waiting for the perfect lighting, perfect caption, checking how many likes you have every hour. That's freedom. That's peace. The next thing you'll notice when you start to embrace imperfection is greater creativity. Perfection paralyzes. And it's funny because when you're not afraid to fail, you become bold enough to try. That's where innovation lives. Some of the best ideas were messy at first, unpolished, imperfect, but they evolve when we give them room to breathe. And might I even say, room to be bad before they get better. The execution of every idea is bad before it gets better. The third thing you'll notice is deeper relationships. Vulnerability is the real flex. And whenever we show up as we truly are, we invite others to do the same. That is the secret sauce to how trust is built. It's not through perfection, rather through presence. Think about the people in your life that you feel closest to. Are they perfect or are they genuine? Are they genuine people who let you see their doubts, their struggles, and maybe even their messiness at times? Vulnerability builds intimacy. The next thing is true fulfillment. One of the things that happens when you embrace imperfection is you stop chasing applause and start living on purpose. And when you begin to live on purpose, life doesn't become about performance, it becomes about practice. You realize that growth, not perfection, is the goal in any area. So we've talked about some of the benefits, but how do we embrace imperfection? Because it isn't just a mindset that we're talking about, it's a muscle that must be strengthened and cultivated under pressure. Our first step is to practice self-compassion. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. You say, well, I talk crazy to a friend too. In that case, you might need a different video. This ain't you. We have one on self-awareness for you to check out. But when you mess up, don't punish yourself. Support yourself. And we have to kill the illusion that mistakes are the enemy. Mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes are a part of the process. And every time you catch yourself thinking that you're a failure, I want you to pause and ask yourself, would I say this to someone that I love? If not, reframe it. I'm learning. This is a part of my growth journey. I want you to remember this. Thoughts come into your mind uninvited. You get to choose which ones you provide room and board to and which ones you boot out. Thoughts are not facts. Just because you think it doesn't mean that it's true. And never forget that you have the power to write the script that's going on in your mind. Number 3, focus on progress, not perfection. Did you show up today? Did you try again when it would have been easier to quit? That's winning. That's growth. Celebrate the effort and not just the outcome. Number 4, take off the mask. One moment at a time and starting small, but begin to share something real in your conversations. Post something honest instead of polished. That tiny act can create a ripple of realness. Carla Harris says that your authenticity is your distinct competitive advantage. Nobody can be you the way that you can be you. You're in a lane that can only be filled by you. So give people the gift of your authenticity and realize that at the end of the day, this is the most powerful gift I have. Number 5, curate your circle. Follow people who inspire, not intimidate. Choose voices that value growth over appearance. Be around people that remind you that it's okay to not have it all together. Don't be around people that aren't trying to get it together, but be around an authentic circle that loves you for you and not for the image of you. Live authentically. Although you will not be perfect, you can be powerful. And that power is in the way that you show up. I was once on a board of directors, and there were 4 of us, and we ran the entire company. Every Tuesday, we would have our meetings. And this particular Tuesday, our boss that was leading the meeting just came in with different energy. And this is the guy that we all look to for our word for the week. This is the guy that we look to for that jolt of energy, that passion. And he just didn't have it that day. And I'll never forget, he showed up to the meeting and started with, honestly, I'm struggling today. We looked around. You? And in that moment, he didn't lose respect. Quite the contrary, he gained respect. We didn't pull back like, hey, we ain't trying to deal with that. We leaned in to have a real conversation, because the principle is that people don't connect with perfection. People connect with what's real. When you lead with the truth, when you lead with your strength, when you show your own flaws, you disarm shame. And when you embrace your humanity, you create space for others to do the same. Let's stop measuring success by flawlessness. Let's realize that winning is showing up, trying again, continuing to grow, staying in there even when it's messy. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to have it all together to be worthy. And here's my challenge for you. Identify one area where perfection is holding you back and take one imperfect step forward anyway. And if you're bold, share it in the comments, especially if it's messy. Let's speak it. Let's strip it of shame. Let's stop chasing perfection and start living free, because you were born to be real. You were born to be powerful, and you were born to be you. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.